All right, guys. Welcome to episode 4 of Puck Drop. I'm your host, Nick Spina. Now, today we have a great episode for you guys. We got my boy Eric on. So, Eric, thank you, man, for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here, talk about my favorite sport in the world with another big fan. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I feel like it's been a long time coming.
I agree.
Had a lot of shit going on. So.
Yeah. The whole Corona, I guess you could say. So I just know that me and you watched a lot of hockey last year. So when you asked me to do this, I was kind of excited,
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of people that I can generally talk to about hockey, like in depth. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say in a good conversation, talking about depth in a team or something like that, you can't talk to many people.
Yeah, I feel like you really have to know the sport. And it's so funny. Like, I'll talk to my dad about it because normally, I mean, he's the one that got me into hockey in the first place. Mm-hmm. But, I follow it way more, in depth again than, he does. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, oh, look at Tampa this year, blah, blah, blah. And all he knows about Tampa is that they're, the Rangers' top trading partner.
Kucherov.
So it's like, yeah,
Kucherov,
things like that.
Yeah, that's just my dad's the same way. He's a big Caps fan, and, he just waits to see the grade 8 on the ice.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, Ovechkin.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'll be, the source of kind of information for anything. He'd be like, Nick, what's going on with the Rangers this week? Or, he's got business, dinners with guys from New York. And he's like, all right, they're Ranger people. What do I need to know? And then I just kind of inform him on all the shit that's been happening.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Cause I feel like hockey, especially in New York, is actually a very big sport.
Yeah.
Because across the United States, it's really not that big of a sport if you think about it. Not many states have teams, and the NHL is expanding with the 2 expansion teams and all that, and it's great. But you have to think about it from a perspective of people who just reside in the U.S. Midwest, you don't have anything, and a lot of states don't have it. So it's very cool to see a strong support base, especially in a state that I grew up in. So
So, when did you start playing hockey? When did your kind of journey start for you?
I started playing when I started skating when I was 4.
Right.
I started playing hockey around the age of I'd say 8 or 9.
Okay.
Started off playing house league. I was a winger. I was really bad. I was just there.
Right.
I scored 2 goals in a season.
Right.
Not gonna lie, first goal I ever scored, hardest celly ever. It was the original '98 celly.
Oh my god.
But yeah. And then one game we didn't have a goaltender, and everyone on the team was taking turns trying. So it was my turn. I tried it. Mm-hmm. I kind of liked it. I was doing a good job. I liked it, and I just stuck with it. So for the rest of that season, I played goalie, and then from that moment on, I played goalie.
That's pretty fun. That's like a Henrik Lundqvist kind of a thing. I don't know if you've ever heard that story. It was in one of his early documentaries. As a kid, him and his twin brother in Sweden, they had youth hockey practice, and they were both running forward. And it was again the team needed a goalie, and then it was just they were like, "Oh, Hank, get in there," And then he just tried it out and was like, "Oh, this is sick."
Yeah, that's so funny.
It obviously worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
So
pretty well.
Pretty well. That's pretty insane. And then you played hockey all the way as a kid through high school?
Oh, yeah. High school, varsity, all of the above, yeah.
And so hockey's been your life for a long time?
It's been the only thing I ever thought about since I was, 8 years old when I started playing.
Right.
The year after I started playing house, we won Connecticut State Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I was the goalie for that team. It was my first year of travel.
Wow.
It was dope. Very cool experience. And then from there, I just moved around a bunch, but I love playing anywhere.
Did you grow up in Connecticut, or you grew up in New York State?
I grew up New York's my home state,
right.
and I live in New York and I reside in New York, but Connecticut's so close to me that I do a lot of things in Connecticut. So
where were your tournaments?
I've played in Lake Placid. I've played in Jay Peak near the border of Canada. I've played in Massachusetts several times. Any Northeast state / Canada, really.
Yeah.
The biggest one though was the Haunted Shootout. If anyone knows what that is, it's during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
You go up for a weekend to some town in Massachusetts, and you and the boys just have a ball, and all the other teams are staying in the same hotel.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it was just a great time. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite youth hockey moment? I mean, it could be high school.
Youth hockey, high school. That's such a good question. I don't have that bright of a hockey career, but like in my head, that's a difficult question. I would have to say probably my senior year of high school when we won the section title, back-to-back section champs. Just like I broke 2 school records. It
Wow.
was that 1 year just was probably the greatest.
Wow. What would you say is your biggest like hockey accomplishment then?
Hockey accomplishment.
Because it sounds like you got a couple state titles, a couple records broken.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I could if there's like a specific one that stands out from that.
Right.
But like all those combined are really my greatest achievements,
Right.
if I could say. Yeah. Yeah, probably like breaking the records, winning the title back to back.
Right.
My senior year at least. That was dope.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So then you play here, right?
Yes.
You play for the club team, which is like the only team that they have basically.
Yes.
Did you choose Marist like for that sole reason, or just kind of like a school you looked into and they just happened to have hockey? Like, was your plan to play college hockey, or?
My plan was to play college hockey, and there were different routes I could have taken, and I can go on about this for hours.
Yeah.
But the whole junior side of hockey,
Right.
that's why hockey is such a unique sport, because you don't have this in any other sport. Like
Right.
football, soccer, anything, you kind of just go high school, college,
Pros.
and then
If you're gonna go there, yeah.
exactly. So I tried going the junior route. I tried out for a bunch of teams. I made a couple USPHL teams right out of high school, but it wasn't really calling my name, so I was like, nah, it's all right. So then I came here. The coach actually came to one of my high school games, spoke with me there, and he just told me that there's more. There's always something more to it, to the game than just letting it die with your high school career.
Right.
So I just took the opportunity that came towards me and making the best out of it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Like one of my a lot of kids from my school chose the junior route. There was probably like 2 or 3 of them. One of them had been bouncing around, won a couple of titles. I want to say I forget, it might have been USHL or something like that.
Buddy's the real deal if he's in the U show.
Yeah, and then I think one of the high school alums is at Brockport now, and then one of them is taking, I think he went juniors this year, and then next year he's going to Arizona State, and he committed there.
Awesome.
And a couple other kids are doing the same thing. So I know that that's like a specific route that people take.
And it's a very challenging route for people who don't look into it extensively before they do it.
Yeah.
It's so complicated, and also if you don't look into it while you're 16 and 15, you need to look into it when you're younger, because
Right.
I did it when it was too late, unfortunately. Like I went to these camps, I was like the oldest kid there.
Right.
One of the older kids there.
Right,
So
right.
it was just different.
What does it kind of entail, like, besides just traveling and playing for a team?
Which team? This one or?
No, just I mean, like, if you're gonna take like the route to go juniors,
Mhm.
like, what is that like? What's so difficult about it? Like, what's complicated about it?
So really, the making the team part is the first challenge,
Right.
and I know everyone listening is probably like, wait, that's the stupidest thing ever. Every team, making any team is difficult.
Right.
No, but this is just more political to a degree, because these teams they have like 15 staff members that are looking for players,
Right.
and each staff member invites their 5 or 10 that they're allowed to invite to,
Right.
to their camp or whatnot, and then they pick them from there. But really, in the end, most of these camps are just kind of pulling money out of kids, because they already have their picks before these quote unquote tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
So in reality, they already know who they're taking. It's
Right.
more of just we want to get our season dues upcoming. And I'm not
Right.
saying this because I'm salty or whatever.
Right,
I'm
right.
saying this because I've been to every single level of junior camp you could ever go to. I've been to USHL, NOL, USPHL, NCDC, EHL. Literally, you name it, I've been there.
Right.
And I've seen the different organizations. I've seen the different programs. I've seen how they're run. I've seen the different things, and it's really difficult to try to prove to a coach why you should be the one picked, especially if they've
Right.
never heard of you before,
Right.
and especially coming out of a public high school, because most of these kids were coming with prep school experience, previous junior experience, and I'm just coming out of public high school.
Right. I gotcha.
And and then after that, really, the more difficult part is like living that lifestyle. It's you wake up, you work out, you skate, you work out, you probably go grocery shopping, you work out,
yeah,
and you go to bed.
Right.
It's like what, 2 ice times, 3 ice times, 3 times the gym a day.
Right.
And like, yes, that's awesome, and that's why I wanted to do it. Obviously, that sounds great, but
Right.
at the same time, the toll that takes on you, you are just you're a workhorse.
Right.
And if you don't work hard enough, they can literally just be like, yeah, sorry, you're benched for the next like 2 weeks or something like that. They have full control over you.
Right.
But it's an awesome lifestyle if you can handle it. That's the thing. That's the thing.
That's the difficult part.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, you then risk the chance of, working super hard and doing all of that for like years on end, and then just not making the cut. You know what I mean?
I've had one experience with a comrade who went down the junior hockey route. It's currently his 4th year.
Wow.
And he's looking to be a starter for a good team this year. Not going to mention anything, but he's looking to start for a pretty decent junior team this year.
Wow.
He's a goalie, and he's looking for a good opportunity.
That's awesome.
He left high school after junior year actually.
Oh shit.
And did a program starting. Yeah, basically got him into the junior world. So.
Right. I don't really know much about it besides like some of the general like leagues and shit like that. I do remember there's this one kid from like my high school. He was like younger than me, so when I was graduating, I think he was like a sophomore or junior, but he got invited to the
national development camps.
Like one of those things, and he's a goalie as well. So like I don't know how impressive that is. You know what I mean? Like how like
I went to one in Long Island actually when I was younger, a couple of years back. A lot of years back now, but I went to one in I forget specifically where it was. It's the Islanders practice rink. It's in Syosset, I believe.
I
went to that. I went to that location. It was a regional goalie tryout for the USA NDTP team, and not many. Yes, a lot of goalies get invited, but it's because USA Hockey reaches out to all the head coaches.
Yeah.
And the head coaches, they tell the coaches, listen, if you don't think you have a good goalie for this, don't bother by telling them about this experience.
Right.
But if you have a very good goalie in your program and you want to expose them and you think they're good enough to actually do something, you give them the piece of paper. I got a piece of paper from my coach. And then you just sign up and then you go. Or no, you don't sign up. It's like an invite basically. It just tells you where to go. Like, and then... Yeah, and that was a great time.
That's awesome.
I don't think I've ever worked that hard at that age yet because I was keeping up with kids who were like playing already in prep school, and I was just like still a chubby little guy.
Right,
you know?
Right. How old were you when you got that invite?
I'd probably say like 14, 15, and that's like
sense.
still really young. But that's when they
Right.
start. That's when they start picking the goalies, like I was just telling you.
Right.
So really. It sucked because I didn't really get good till I was a little older and like got more in shape and like whatnot. Right. So it's all right.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason. You know?
Right. That's fair. All right. So now let's take a little bit of a transition. We'll talk about this year's playoffs.
Oh, so much to talk about.
What are you thinking?
Love it. So we got 4 teams left?
Yeah.
Isles, Lightning, Golden Knights, Dallas.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
I was very hopeful for Vancouver in the West.
Really?
Yeah, I thought Vancouver was going to run deep. And the thing is I think they have a lot of depth. And what I like most about them is that they're like a very similar team to the Rangers, and I feel like they'll probably I see a lot of similarities between the two.
It'll take a couple of years of growth, but once they get there, they're going to be a very dominant team.
Right. I think Vancouver. Listen, long rebuild, but I think they did it the right way. So it's like they stacked up a multitude of draft picks, and they drafted well, and then took the proper time to develop. Like you look at who can I take for example?
Look at any player, Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes.
You can take. I was thinking more of I was gonna pick big names, but I was gonna say you take Jacob Markstrom. They waited a long time to bring Jacob Markstrom up.
They waited a long time, but guess what? That was a good
Right.
weight.
Right.
Good weight.
Right. And so I see similarities with Markstrom in terms of like Igor sat in the KHL for 4 or 5 years before the Rangers like brought him over this year, and then he went 9-2-0 in his first 11. So it's like, that's why I like Vancouver so much, is because like I saw a lot of what the Rangers could be, at least in that team.
No, I completely agree with that statement. Going back to what you just said about the young aspect of the team, like Vancouver, their group leadership is going to be all young guys in a couple of years, because although they do have older guys now, which is good, and you need that base.
Veteran presence. Yeah,
Rangers have that a little bit too. Not so much. They have a lot more young guys fresh in the NHL, but they do have the older bases. I think Vancouver is going to be a powerhouse going into next year.
Yeah,
100%. You can't go unnoticed with those names on your team.
Right.
And with goaltending as solid as Markstrom. I'm sorry.
Right. Right. I was talking to my friend Sam. He's he lives in Vancouver. He's a big Canucks fan. He said that they're having I think they're going to have some goalie issues in the future, because I mean, obviously Demko stepped up last couple of games, but
Thatcher, don't get me started. He was lights out.
Yeah. Mans was insane. But I think either this year or next year, I think he's got 1 year left on his contract, so he's due to be a free agent, Markstrom is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Vancouver does. There are many routes they can take, but I feel like after a run like this and just a couple fluky games, that last game that they lost the series 3-0, that was just, I'm sure they wanted to rerun that game, because that was just not their performance that they wanted, I'm sure. I don't know. I feel like they're just going to come back with a vengeance next year, and when they do, people should watch out, because Elias Pettersson, I keep saying his name, but he is dangerous. His shot, have you seen he doesn't move his hands and the puck's in the net.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It's ridiculous. I've just watched him. The ability to just pick the corner of the net at any given moment, it's insane.
And Vancouver has a pretty stacked lineup, too. Like you wouldn't think about it right off the top of your head, but Burrows,
no, you look at them, it's
Hughes,
Besser, Pettersson. The
defenseman, Jake Virtanen.
Yeah, Jake
Virtanen. Sorry, Virtanen.
And he took a couple years to actually develop into a good role player.
Exactly, and that's what Vancouver's doing. They're bringing up these guys that are taking time to develop. They're developing in the right setting, in the right place, and with the right people, and they're blending so well.
Yeah, so that's why I like Vancouver. I don't like Vegas, just because I feel like it was a cheap way to enter the league.
Vegas, a lot of controversy on Vegas.
What do you think about Vegas?
I really like Vegas. I really do.
Why?
Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Leonard. That's just the greatest goalie duo you can ever have. Just two vets of the NHL, both well-respected names. And then you have Ryan Reeves on your team. You got Marchessault, you got Nosek, dude. You Alex Tuck, who's been going off. Let me add. You just have such a William Karlsson. Dude.
Yeah.
Everyone on their team is just so good, and they play Cody Eakin. They play so well together, and I feel like, especially being a new team, 2 years ago, 3?
Yeah, two. I want to say
2. They came into the league flying.
Yeah,
and that was something nobody's seen in a long time, and now it's set. I've been having people ask me, "Oh, what do you think? Is the Kraken gonna do the same thing Vegas did? Are they gonna get a crazy lineup? Like, are they gonna have an absurd draft or something like that? You know?"
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know, but I can tell you one thing: I expect a good team, because the NHL is they do a good job when it comes to expansion teams, as we've seen with Vegas. So.
Right. I think it's a difficult situation for those expansion drafts, because I feel like they don't want a brand new team to just be shit right off the bat, which is why I think maybe they give them a little bit of help. I don't know. I just think it's difficult with if you're one of the teams that's still in it. It's difficult for which players you can protect and which you can't. The big help, I think, is that those I think players on their ELCs are just automatically protected. So that's not. No one's got to worry about that. But I think, a lot of teams with a lot of good role players, Vegas was able to just pick up and just form a good, they've got a lot of depth because they picked up a lot of, role players and then was able to sign, like different players in free agency, like Max Pacioretty.
They
and shit
also
like that.
picked up a couple guys from the AHL.
Yeah.
And those guys just proved why they should be here, and they've just been grinding day in and day out, and they
Right.
showed why they made it to the NHL.
Right.
And much respect to them because they worked for it.
Right. I think Seattle's probably going to be a similar situation, but looking back at it, it kind of depends how they draft necessarily.
I would hope Seattle's not gonna do what Vegas did and go final round first year, just
Right.
because that's a little extensive.
Right.
Yeah, you love to see it, but at the same time, it's just like that's unfair for all
Yeah.
the
Right.
other teams that they've just been working their asses off for. Like, look at Ovi. He won his first
Yeah.
cup, 2 years ago?
2018, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And this guy's been in the show forever. And then you have Vegas comes in, goes to the finals once. And, then, that's ridiculous.
And a lot of those players, it could have been their first cup. And,
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So that's why I think it's a difficult situation looking at that. But I'm
Completely.
excited nevertheless.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm so excited. The
jerseys
jerseys
look
are
gorgeous.
looking beautiful.
They look
The
beautiful.
color schemes are just excellent. I didn't expect them to go with the Kraken per se.
What were you expecting? I mean, I didn't know.
I
what to
expected
get
some like a different animal that wasn't like so aggressive, I'd say, or like made up.
Right. Right. Yeah. I like it though. Like,
Yeah.
I think the marketing for the whole team has been fantastic so far. Those promo videos they put out, just even the jersey release itself, I was very impressed.
They did
As
a-
a media studies major and a film guy myself, I did think they did a very good job with that.
They did a very good job of displaying, like you just said, displaying the jerseys, and I know that's like a weird thing to say, but
Right.
believe it or not, there is a bad way to reveal a team and a
Right.
jersey and all that, and they did it the right way, so
Right.
I respect them. To take a quick turn of events here, we
Yeah.
talked about Dallas and Golden Knights. Let's talk about Islanders and Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Because last night, if the viewers are not aware, the Lightning spanked the Islanders 8-2.
An absolute slaughtering.
34 shots on goal for the Lightning, 24 shots on goal for the Islanders, and a just absolute blowout. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Here's the thing. First of all, I love Tampa. I think their time, I'm very glad that they've been able to break out of their playoff funk, considering they've been like a ridiculously strong team, coming into the regular season and into the playoffs and stuff like that. Just haven't been able to find luck. So I'm glad that they've finally been able to break through and do well. The thing about Tampa, I think, is they lack, I would say, a sense of physicality. I think there's a lot of finesse on that team, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I just think they're super quick. And, I mean, they had like a week off prior to the game, and of course then
up.
The Islanders have been coming off a long 7-game series, so it's like I'm not one to give the Islanders credit, but I think they were probably a little bit gassed, and Tampa had just been ready to go.
Absolutely, without a doubt. These guys have been sitting watching all these bubble games, like just on the spin room, and just
Right.
like watching these games. They're not worried. They've had so much time to rest, and then you take this Islanders team that just barely squeezed out Philly. Like, yeah, they beat them 4-0 in the final game, but like
They were up
in the
3-1.
series, it was a barely squeezed by.
Right.
I mean, obviously Philly didn't deserve to win that series, so I'm not glad the Islanders moved on, but
Right.
I just wanted the better team to move on, because if the Flyers moved on, I don't know, this could have been 10-2, maybe 12, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, 8-2, like, yes, that's a pounding in my opinion, but at the same time, you have to look at the conditions.
Right.
Tampa Bay has been relaxing. Islanders have been working pretty hard actually, because
Right.
Tampa did not go down easy, so
Right.
it makes sense, and I think that it's going to turn around
Right.
as the series goes along.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think the Islanders are going to necessarily win.
No.
I think that they can win a game or two, maybe 3, but that's about as high
Pushing
as I'll
it,
go
yeah.
on that one.
I could agree. I'd say Tampa in 6 on that one. What do you think?
I want to go Tampa in 5, but I'm waiting. I want to see the second game, but because like
Right.
recently I've been spending some money on the
Oh, okay.
online sports world,
Fair
and
enough.
it's been pretty interesting. I always wait for the first game of the series to be over with because I need to see what's going on. What are you looking at? What's going on here? Because the only team that's gonna make me money with 4 teams remaining is the Islanders and the Stars because they're both underdogs.
Right.
So, but I don't know. After the Lightning spanked them, I don't know about that.
Right. Yeah,
Really not sure if I'm going to be betting on them anytime soon.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. It's a strange 4 teams, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at the Islanders, Tampa. I mean, this is the Island. I don't know if it's the first, but I'd say it's the first conference final since '93, right?
Yeah.
Just throw this out there, in case no one knows. But last time the Islanders went to the conference final, which was '93, presumably, Rangers won the year after '94. So. Just
not a big deal.
Throw a little spice into your day,
Yeah. I was very surprised Colorado just lost.
Yeah. I was expecting.
I'm replaying the final goal in my head because I was watching the game. I had a decent amount of money on Colorado,
right?
Because it's Colorado,
right?
And I was just watching the overtime, and me and my boys are in our living room, and I'm just watching this TV, and I'm watching all 4 Colorado defensemen, all 5 just get sucked to the net, and then I just watched Kiviranta just back out 3 feet, and then he's wide open, and I was like, oh, here he comes.
Right.
All right, that was a hat trick too. People forget that was a hat trick too.
Wow.
Kid replaced Andrew Cogliano in the lineup, got a hat trick in his first playoff game.
That's ridiculous.
Kind of crazy.
That's insane. Yeah, I always knew Tampa was good, but I never thought they would be able to. Or not Tampa. Dallas. I always knew that they were good, but I didn't know that. I didn't think they had it in them to go deep. They're never one of those teams that's on your radar. I feel like.
I was just about to say that. I think a lot of people look past Dallas because they're just like, oh, Dallas, so
whatever.
Jamie Benn, wow.
Yeah.
But then if you actually look into it, you want to talk about players: Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Kiviranta, Heiskanen. Your goaltending is just solid. You have Ben Bishop and Anton Hubodin, you're both solid goaltenders. Who's that other defenseman? Klingberg.
Carl Klingberg, right?
Gross, great player. Yeah, so you want to talk about a team that has depth as well?
Right.
They're there.
Right.
Because if you look at it, Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin have done jack shit for the Dallas Stars.
Right.
Let me just say, they have not done anything for them.
Right.
The only people, Kiviranta put up a hat trick. You ever heard of him before?
Right, yeah.
No. You didn't. That's the stuff that we're talking about. And last game, Klingberg was the only one to score. It was a 1-0 game, and Klingberg scored. And then throw it back to when they played Dallas. Oh, how could I possibly forget this name? What? Alex Radulov.
Oh,
come on.
My God.
Come
You're
on.
right. That slipped past my mind, too.
He's been tearing it up in the playoffs. He's been actually tearing it up. I'm just looking at the people who scored goals. It was Kiviranta and Radulov. That was it.
That's insane.
That was literally it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Such a weird playoff, such a weird time. So everything's a little weird, but guess what? We're making do. We're liking it. I'm loving it, actually. I hope everyone's watching hockey. It's a great time. Some competitive stuff.
Right. And 3-4 hockey games a day is not the worst thing in the world, right?
Oh my God, I was so happy when the playoffs first started. 3 games a day.
It's like March Madness, literally.
Even better.
Yeah. Which is unbelievable. What else you got? If you want to look past this round, right? We'll go. Obviously, Tampa's going to win the East. That's my bet.
No way the Isles beat them.
And then, who do you have? I don't really care about the West now because it's just 2 teams I don't care for.
As much as I love Vegas, I low-key would like to see Dallas win a cup.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Dallas win. I've talked to a lot of people who think Tampa will, if they go past the Isles, which...
I really have a feeling Dallas is gonna win the cup.
You think so?
I don't know why, and I'm a really big Golden Knights guy. Like
Right.
I think they're a very solid team, and I think they win a lot. In my head, I really think that Vegas is gonna beat Dallas. But in my heart, I have a feeling that Dallas is gonna win the cup, and I don't know why. I don't know where this just came from.
Right.
But like I have a feeling Dallas is gonna do something.
Interesting. That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
I don't even agree with that.
Right.
But at the same time,
it came out of your mouth and you were like,
at the
"Oh,
same time,
okay."
I do. If
Right.
that makes any sense.
Yeah. So you think, let's say presumably Dallas and Tampa, you think Dallas takes over Tampa?
Alex Radulov, Game 7, double OT. He scores the game winner.
Wow, that would be interesting. They haven't won a cup, have they?
Dallas?
Yeah. Or maybe they have.
I'm pretty sure they have, but it was definitely or
Like
they haven't.
ages
Or
ago.
they haven't.
Right.
They
I don't
probably
remember.
have. I don't think they have. I don't remember ever hearing. I mean, no, there were definitely some legends on the Dallas Stars, but I don't remember hearing about multiple legends on the Stars at one point.
Right. It's just Mike Badano, and that's it.
That's the guy I was thinking of.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
the guy. Just
That's
Mike
the guy you were thinking of.
Badano.
That's it, right?
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the draft for?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because honestly,
I'm a little excited for the draft, to say the least.
it's a little interesting that
Yeah.
Rangers are getting number 1 and number 2 years in a row, but
Well, you could say it'd be interesting that the Devils got 3 first-round or top 2 picks for 3 years in a row.
Yeah, but the Devils suck.
The Devils are terrible. I don't know why they kept giving them picks, honestly. I think
that's
shit's fucking right.
At one point, you can't fix your team with picks.
Right.
At one point, you need to change something else.
Right. And literally all of their players have just been busts. Nico Hischier, where is he? Jack Hughes, terrible.
Hey,
Kid's garbage.
every single girl that obsesses over Jack Hughes, how many points did he put up this season? 3? Like, I don't want to hear it. I literally don't want to hear it. Everyone who says Jack Hughes, no.
Oh my God, it's all
No.
I hear. It's terrible. Granted, like
You want to know what they should have done? I'm sorry to interrupt you. You want to know what they should have done?
yeah, what should they have done?
You know how this year's draft, like those kids, Trevor Zegras, Cole Caulfield, all
Yeah.
those kids got drafted and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it this way. They're all going to college right now. They're all
Right.
in college right now, and they're going to go to the show
Right.
after 2, 3, or 4 years of college, depending on how they do.
Right.
Why wouldn't Jack Hughes do that to mature? Because as of right now, he's shorter than me,
Right.
and like
I mean, granted,
he's
you're like 6'3".
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like built. He's like what? He doesn't have that much muscle. He's just a little fucking 18-year-old.
Dude, it's like if I was gonna play.
That's what I was about to
like,
say.
yeah.
You take a random 18, 19-year-old, put him on the no, it doesn't work like that. You're not
Right.
supposed to keep up at that level, and you're
No.
not supposed to be able to physically keep up at that level because you have 23-year-old superstars flying around you. Like,
Right.
Like, don't even think that you can compete for them for a second. Like,
Right.
yeah, Jack, you have a good shot, but like,
Right.
and on a Devils power play, yeah, you can bury it, but like, guess what? Like, go 1-on-1 against one of the best defensemen in the show, and you're not going anywhere.
You're not doing anything.
Go against your brother, and you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that's a hot take. I've always disliked Jack Hughes. Oh, if you want a quick little story time,
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
you know who Trevor Zegras is, right?
I do.
Draft pick to Anaheim.
Yep.
You know where he's from?
No.
Bedford, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 10 minutes from him. So
Wow.
this summer, I skated with him 3 times.
Wow.
He was my personal shooter for my goalie lessons.
Shit.
Buddy, this guy I can see why he's in the NHL.
Right.
Like, in my opinion, I've only watched Jack Hughes on TV and whatnot, but
Yeah.
but like I've played against Trevor in middle school and then like now again,
Right.
and it's like night and day. Like this kid is just brand new.
Right.
He's just the sickest. I've seen him do things with the puck I haven't seen anyone do yet.
Really?
And that says a lot because I'm a big hockey guy.
You've been around hockey for a long time,
like
right?
I saw this kid do some crazy things that shouldn't be able to be done, but
Right.
it was. So ridiculous, but whatever.
Right.
So that was a good experience. I also John Pitatello, the other rookie for Anaheim, that's friends with Trevor. I skated with both of them. Skated with 3 of the kids from the USA U18 team, 3 kids from UMich, couple Northeast, just a bunch of solid kids that have really good hockey careers, good backgrounds, and a couple BU players and whatnot with Trevor.
Nice.
But yeah, so I just want to let you know that it was just a good time, especially in your hometown, like throwback to the old days when we played together in middle school. Like, it was just a good time.
That's pretty sick. That's fucking awesome.
Bringing up the draft pick, so I just remembered him.
Right. The only story of a similar situation that would come to my mind, and I haven't played hockey for a team before, but so I went to Kingswood Oxford. It's a private school in West Hartford, but one of the other surrounding private schools is Avon Old Farms, which you've probably heard before.
Avon. Trevor went there.
Did he go there?
Yeah,
really?
He transferred out of public, obviously.
Right. And that program shaped a lot of good guys. I mean, the big one that I'm thinking of, because I'd been visiting the school around the same time, was Jonathan Quick had just won the cup in 2014. Unfortunately, as a crack to my soul.
What a great year for me. A Los Angeles Kings fan. Oh man, that was such a great year. I'll never forget that game.
Yeah, and he brought the cup back to Avon.
On a rebound on Lundqvist, left side.
So, Alec Martinez can haunt me in my nightmares.
I know he does.
I do not like him. But yeah, that was just another similar thing I could think of was
Avon Old Farms actually produced some of the top players in the nation right now. This moment that we're speaking, some of the top players, hockey players in the nation are from Avon, Trinity Pauling, Shattuck St. Mary's, all those schools. It's just a Minnesota, they call those.
Right. And I grew up in Canton, which is the town over from Avon. So I was always,
I can only imagine the people you saw, like the Trevor Zegrases of the world,
Right. Yeah. And it was always weird because, I'm sure, I don't know if you've been there or not before, but it's...
Ken?
No, to AOF.
Oh, yeah, I've been there
plenty
of times.
It's kind of it's really kind of awkward because you just kind of are driving through these back roads and then it's just a bunch of these tall brick buildings and things like that. It's really strange.
It is. I mean, I feel like most really, really nice prep schools are like that.
Yeah.
They're kind of in the middle of the woods, the middle of nowhere, or they're 20 minutes outside of a town or something like that.
Right.
But so it is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and then you have these just very castle-looking villages of just brick buildings, big brick buildings of just these meatheads living in it and just playing sports for a living.
Right. Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, and obviously they're all boarding schools. They're all built, with these giant buildings, giant facilities. They got a lot of money and things like that.
Intentions for the kids living there. So obviously they have to make it a nice facility. You're not going to make the kids live in a poor, I don't mean poor. I meant poor conditions.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I know what you meant. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, I went to a day school, so we didn't have the exact same funding that all those other schools would have, and we had a rink for the longest time, and they got rid of it halfway through my time there.
No way.
They just scrapped the rink. Yeah, they were, and that was when the teams weren't terrible to my memory, but they weren't fantastic either. I mean, they'd go 2 rounds in the playoffs, but
so they're just your average high school team that you just support just because they're there.
Right, and we had a rink on campus, and it was really nice to have that. But yeah,
we had that.
Yeah, I know. And even
Marist
the same
Athletics.
The conditions of the rink weren't pristine. They don't have those kind of same things. You go to, I don't know if you heard of Westminster, just another one of those private schools.
Westminster, what a school, dude.
You go to Westminster, beautiful school, beautiful campus. Same with AOF, but both of their rinks are ridiculous.
You ever been to Kent?
Have you been to where?
Kent?
Yeah, I've been to Kent. I swam there, yeah.
Another one of those barns that's just, it's not the nicest thing, but it's just an on-campus barn that's just beautiful.
Right. A lot of those private schools are like that. Hotchkiss is a ridiculous school. It's insane.
Hotchkiss is one of those that it's just next level.
Yeah, it is.
Avon is next level for boys, but Hotchkiss is just overall just wow.
It's literally like a college campus, and I think I I forget if it's Hotchkiss or it's one of the other schools, but they just literally have dogs just roaming around the hallways, like for you to just pet, just chill.
That's so many of those prep schools.
And it's just like
private
schools,
sorry.
They just got tons of shit just on site.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Places like that. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. That's just money makes the world go round.
Right. Right. I got you. Well, anyway, man.
Hey,
Eric, it's literally been a pleasure. This was a super fun conversation.
This was a great time. I had a blast. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
I'm very much down for that. So.
Oh, we can wait till after the West and East finals. And then
reconvene.
Come together right before the finals.
That sounds good.
See what we said. If any of it was right.
If any of those predictions were correct.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
All right, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Anytime.
All right, I'll see you soon, man. Thank you.